Hello everyone, this is Charles of Victoria Frontier. This is the guide to CM12. The track is Nakayama 2000 meters. The start of the late game is middle of corner 3, which means that there is not much available acceleration. Since 777 procs right before the late game, Christmas Ogre can use 777 or Uma Square as her third trigger. Christmas Ogre, with her Festive Miracle unique skill, is going to get speed carryover and acceleration going into the late game almost every single race. She is definitively the strongest Uma on CM12. In general, the meta is Christmas Ogre versus all the other Umas. Christmas Ogre is about a tier stronger than every other Uma, except for, say, Saiyan Sky, but Saiyan Sky and Meijou Dober has their own weaknesses that they'll have to deal with. The stat line requirement is anything that somewhat resembles something like this. As long as you have around 750 stamina, it should totally be enough. Honestly, it's not that hard of a requirement to hit as long as you bring the correct sparks and deck. For Christmas Ogre, the stat line requirement is even lower. You can go as low as like 600 stamina and you will be totally fine. Since the stat line for CM12 is so consistent and easy to reach as long as you have the correct build, we can actually have more room to fit in skill cards that give us valuable skills that have a strong effect. For example, one of the notable support cards that I would recommend people use is Yukino Bijin. Bijin Wit, although the Wit training effect is terrible on this card because we can bring up to like 3 Wit cards in our deck, we can actually slot her in to get No Stopping Me, a skill that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with already because of the Unity Cup. Haze Chasers, Late Surgers, or End Closers that insta-hit No Stopping Me has a very high chance of winning. Insta-hit No Stopping Me, it's like 4 lengths of distance. It's really strong and a very high potential skill. This card is also usable on level 30, 35, or level 50. You don't really have to borrow it if you already have a copy of level 30 in your account, because the training effect on this card is honestly so weak. Having 0 LB, 1 LB, or wasting your borrow slot for MLB honestly does not make much of a difference. You can use the 0 LB Bijin and borrow a much stronger support card that actually raises wit, such as Fine Motion or Nice Nature, which will give a much stronger click. You're using Bijin Wit just for the No Stopping Me skill. Frontrunners and Pace Chasers can bring Power Pasa, which is a card that gives Kilotoons level 2, and also Medium Straights, some other skills, and 2 green skills. This card has a very strong training effect and will be able to carry your power training really hard if you are on a good run. It also has 10 race bonus, which is pretty strong. Power Falcon gives groundwork and prudent positioning on her third event. Do note that Final Push does not work even if you get it from Falcon, so don't grab it. I would still recommend people farm for groundwork and use Kilotoons instead because the middle game is very important. If you really can't be asked to farm groundwork on Mant, I can understand it, and there is the Small Falcon card. If your account is lucky and you have like either Pasa Power or Falcon that you can fit into your deck, and you want to fit in another card for skills, there is also Yanu Muteki. Yanu Muteki gives you a lot of high quality skills, tail held high, ramp up, up tempo, medium corners, home stretch chased, as well as playtime's over and it's on. These skills are going to help your Uma take a better position in the mid game and also use up your skill points efficiently because for CM12, we do have a problem with using up our skill points. Now, if your borrow slot is locked, there's also this Marvelous Sunday Power card. Personally, Marvelous Sunday Power card is one of my favorite support cards. This card gives 15% race bonus, a lot of starting stats, has Fast and Furious, which is a strong late surger skill, as well as potential hints for tail held high, ramp up, straight adept, and 2 hesitant skills. I love this card. I think this is a very strong card. Let's talk about the environments and strategies, starting with frontrunners. The main inherent skills for frontrunner is Angling and Scheming and Keka. If you're Saiyan Sky, you really want Valentine Bourbon Unique. If you're Bourbon, you'll need to inherit Saiyan Sky Unique. The 2 strongest frontrunners are Saiyan Sky and Valentine Bourbon. Marzensky and Daiwa Scarlet has a bit of potential, and you can run them if you like, but I wouldn't say they are stronger than the other 2. The reason I'm recommending Saiyan Sky over Summer Marzensky or even Valentine Bourbon is that Saiyan Sky herself, when she's able to take Rod, she actually has not too bad of a performance against Christmas Ogre Double Dominator and is one of the few characters in the entire roster to be able to take wins off of Christmas Ogre Double Dominator. Although Valentine Bourbon can win versus Christmas Ogres of the same caliber, she struggles to close races against Christmas Ogre Double Dominator. My theory is if you're a strong frontrunner player, you are capable of making a strong Marzensky, then by extension, you are capable of making a strong Saiyan Sky. The cap on Saiyan Sky is higher. Valentine Bourbon is, of course, still going to be more consistent in fighting for first place. Since frontrunners only have angling and scheming as their acceleration, sometimes frontrunners will feed no stopping me to Christmas Ogre, which is really bad. If the distance between the frontrunner pack and Christmas Ogres is not far enough, Christmas Ogre is going to get a free no stopping me off of the frontrunners and actually just run down everybody in the lobby. Thank goodness Christmas Ogre doesn't have a particularly strong mid-game performance over, say, Valentine Bourbon, which has a mid-game unique as well as Escape Artist. But yeah, this is something to keep in mind of. Let's first talk about Saiyan Sky. Saiyan Sky has innate 0.4 acceleration. She's the last bastion versus Christmas Ogre Double Dominator. Saiyan Sky has trouble taking angling and scheming for herself because, well, Summer Morzensky and Valentine Bourbon both have very strong unique skills. I think the best two-front composition is going to be Valentine Bourbon plus Saiyan Sky. Some people may think that it's Valentine Bourbon plus Morzensky, but I feel like Morzensky will require too much effort to build, so I'm not going to be suggesting Morzensky. If possible, you can redistribute some skill points into speed greens, which will allow Valentine Bourbon to close off races against Christmas Ogre more often. Daiwa Scarlet, I feel like, has some potential. I've seen her perform, her unique skill is not too bad in terms of defending the first place, and she also has innate kilotunes, which gives her a decent middle game power. She has little to no front skills in her kit, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to build her from the ground up, but I feel like she's not going to be too weak in terms of the performance. On to Pace Chasers. Pace Chasers this time does not have that much acceleration. The one Pace Chaser is just Christmas Ogre. With Uma Square or 777 as the trigger, she's going to have a speed carryover and acceleration effect going into the late game. You can see that this is the effect of her unique skill. She's going to increase her target speed and then have the extra acceleration effect in her unique skill just pop off and accelerate a bunch. Wow, what a character. Since the trigger works off of 777, if you buy stuff like Corner Recovery, Hydrate, and then 777, there are no placement requirements at all. You just need to proc and win 3 wit checks on the recovery skills. You don't have to interact with any opponents. This is truly one of the characters of all time to be designed in Umamusume. Like, holy shit. Regardless, going Pace Chaser on Christmas Ogre is going to be the most advantageous position because you can also use Uma Square as your backup. Going front, late, or end does not have any significant advantages. I know a lot of Christmas Ogre players, they really like to go end closer or frontrunner for some reason. If you really want to, I can't stop you. VF Scrimmers or Karat Clash players can consider buying Double Unique on Christmas Ogre, because we're likely going to get a lot of front-heavy lobbies. It's not all doom for Pace Chasers. For the Oshi players on Pace Chaser, here's some information for you guys. Inherited Festive Miracle, in fact, does not work. It works on 2,200 meters as an inherited unique skill, but on 2,000, it doesn't work. Like, your effect will just run out before we enter the late game. Your main acceleration as a Cope Pace Chaser player is angling, scheming, no stopping me, head on, and like double dominator and gamble, no stopping me off of runners. Or just hit Rod by being in the first place and just out mid-gaming the other Christmas Ogre players. I don't really see any other outs for Pace Chaser players, except for like maybe Daiwa Scarlet Power, which will release next week. You can maybe grab the gold head-on skill for a chance of hitting the gamble head-on, which is like hitting on your left. It's kind of cope. It's cope. It's cope, but yeah, you could do that. For late surgers, the main acceleration that I'm going to be recommending is actually Dober, Beyond, and also Morzensky's Redshift. I think if you're a strong player, you should be going Beyond plus Redshift. Even though Redshift is delayed, according to my own testing, because I'm running Special Week and Grasswinder for CM12, since Redshift can proc on 1 to 4th place, I can still convert into some wins even if I didn't proc or delayed proc my acceleration and only have Redshift as my excel. Beyond plus Redshift is very much for late surger players that actually want to win and is actually pumping a lot of mid-game skills to keep up with the general pace of the entire lobby. Going Beyond plus Iron is fine. I don't think it's going to win that many races if you're on 6th place by the late game, unless the lobby is super slow or your opponents are just outright weaker. If your opponents are weak, you should be not on 6th place. And if you're on 6th place and the lobby is fast, even if you proc Iron Beyond and even if you have NSM on top of it, I don't think you're going to win. You can grab Iron plus Beyond if you're not too confident with your aces and just want to snag some few lucky wins and get some Karatins. Yeah. Late surgers in general can win as long as you hit Beyond plus No Stopping Me and maybe some Slick Surge gamble and can run it down. It highly depends on your top speed, but yeah, you really have to proc acceleration when you enter the late game, because in front of you is an Uma called Christmas Ogre that has an extremely consistent acceleration every single game. The more late surgers in the lobby, the better the chances of a late surger win. You want a forward position, because with Redshift, for example, if you're Redshift late surger and you're able to keep up with the lobby pace, you hit the home stretch and connect dueling, you can still run down people if the Christmas Ogre isn't like 20 miles away. Late Surger isn't super consistent, but they can win. For Doba and Ryan, because it's the innate unique skill, both of them are strong and can convert into wins. If you're lazy, you don't want to play Frontrunner, you don't want to play Christmas Ogre, or you don't have her, I think Major Ryan is not too bad of a choice. Major Ryan also has Rising Dragon. I don't know if you're going to queue into a lobby with a lot of fronts. The actual CM12 meta is still not decided. I don't know how many people are going to be just running Christmas Ogre. I predict there's going to be like 2.5 Christmas Ogres every single lobby. At least there's 2 people in front of you, but are your opponents running Frontrunner? Nobody knows. Another notable Uma on Late Surger is Spechanki. Special Week can just run down things. It's been really fun scrimming with Special Week. You just hold down the W key. You just keep on buying skills, proc skills, and when you go into the late game, overtake somebody to proc your Shooting Star and don't look back. Not playing Christmas Ogre and playing Special Week has been a blast for me. I wouldn't say it's like more consistent than Christmas Ogre, of course. Like Christmas Ogre is just stronger if you want to not play Christmas Ogre. Special Week is pretty cool and requires not too much investment. Now, for end closers, I think you just go 6 and 5 and No Stopping Me and call it a day. End closers have the problem of like they're getting screwed by Dominators or late surgers in the lobby. If there's a late surger in front of you, they kind of get screwed and is swung to the outside when going down the third corner and lose a bunch of distance. If you don't queue into late surgers, I think they can win. If you run faster than Christmas Ogre and proc acceleration, you can also win. I'm not too sure about it, but yeah, there's also the end closer angle. There's no reason to run stamina debuffers on CM12. Your main opponent is Christmas Ogre. Christmas Ogre is already overstammed by default. She's bringing 4 recoveries plus her unique skill that also has a recovery. And what are you going to ever do with stamina debuffs? These 2 support cards alone is going to give the hints on Hesitant Front, Pace, and Late. You could run these support cards, and in general, if you hit Hesitant Pace Chasers on any Uma, even on your Ace, I recommend buying it. Here is a final disclaimer before I talk about the team comps. Umamusume is just a game. The most important thing when you're playing a game is to have fun. It's important to prioritize your own enjoyment over what other people think. Here are some of my recommended team comps for CM12. If you want to win the most, I feel like the highest cap is on 2 front plus a flex. It doesn't have to be Christmas Ogre. Double front plus Dominator has shown quite decent results. If you don't want to run Frontrunner, there is, say, double backliner plus a flex Uma. You can go like Christmas Ogre, you can go Dominator. It's worth a shot. It's worth it to try. One of the possible playstyles is going solo ace double Dominator. You are going to be the underdog. Each win will not be easy because you're facing up against Christmas Ogre in all types of different lobby formations. I think solo ace double Dominator will be pretty fun and challenging for the player. As for Christmas Ogre double Dominator, I'm not going to be the person to recommend it actively. It's not like it's not strong. It's the strongest composition, but there's nothing strategic about it. There's nothing interactive about it. You don't have to interact with your opponents. It's the best composition if you're in for the karat. It's not the best composition if you're playing the game. It's simply abusing Christmas Ogre, and that's it. I don't think there's any gameplay there, so it's just my opinion. You're free to run whatever you want. As I said just now, play whatever you want. CM12, this is the meta, this is the track, Christmas Ogre is the character. It happens, you know? Very much looking forward to the Derby Champions meeting, CM13, which is the next one after CM12. Since both CM12 and CM13 are medium tracks, if you parent run for Spring Sparks or Groundwork, Dodgenator, Ignited Wit, anything, the CM12 parents can be used onto CM13, and CM13 is just Redshift, Dober Unique, Angling and Scheming. It's the same stuff, so yeah, the parenting work that you'll put in for CM12 is going to carry over to CM13. I'll see you guys on Tokyo 2400. This is Charles Victoria Frontier. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is like a little bit schizo, and it's like an extra tip, I guess. I can't really put this in the main content of the video because I can't recommend it to the average players. But if you're really looking to win in CM12, you want your Oshi, your any Uma to be ahead of your opponents, to be slightly stronger than your opponents. Then, once you got both sides of your parents done, low-key, if you have Fine Motion ML Bead, I think re-rolling hints on the first 11 rounds with infinite runs, and re-rolling until you start the game with right-handed is actually a play. You skip the farming process for right-handed, you get 60 speed more than your opponent at the start of the game, and you can also re-roll for like Yainu Muteki hints, you can re-roll for Marvelous Sunday hints, and start a game with like 3 more hints over your opponents, which lets you spend your skill points better, because one CM Ace run or any prototype run will easily tell you that the stat line isn't that difficult to hit, but the skill point, you might have some difficulty in spending all of your skill points effectively, and you don't want to run out of things to buy and buy like weak skills, right? So yeah, I think re-rolling for right-handed plus some hints in the early game is worth it, as long as you keep your sanity intact and you already got a decent prototype out. Then after that, you can look for potential increases. But yeah, that's just a theory that I have. I do not recommend the average player to try this. I think it's very schizo and I cannot recommend it in the main video. Good luck and goodbye.